HMO space, you have different demographics in different areas and so on. Like you might have student, you might have professionals and so on. And what's the average age for this? Do they work from home or not? Things like that. Then you try to understand as much as possible who's going to be your avatar, and then you try to accommodate as much as possible. So if you achieve that from the very beginning, you'll have a higher chance of success.
Because we're going to talk about your steps essentially from conception to completion, because you have these checkpoints. So we'll run through those one by one, so everyone can understand exactly what we're talking about. But to cut in from where you were saying there, so you essentially get the architect's drawings, and at that point you're looking at them thinking, okay, well, who's going to be in it? What are the tenants? Are they over 35, working, young professionals? Are they students? And I think that gets missed a lot in the HMO industry, because the architects just design to suit the size and structure, loft conversion, rear extension, bang, you can get this size property in. But who's going to live in there is really key, isn't it?
Yeah. What happens a lot of the time, it's you end up with a set of drawings from the architect. Obviously, they do their job, and then this goes through planning. This goes through everything that the builder needs to know up to that point. Yeah. But obviously, it doesn't give you enough detail for you to complete the build. Obviously, you have the building, but all of your work, most of your work, is going to be done inside those walls.
Yeah.
So my question is to you: if you don't have the clarity what's going to happen within those walls, how can you start a project like this?
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't start building a house without having really detailed architectural drawings.
Yeah.
I mean, some builders, they wouldn't start a house because they need to know the thickness of the walls, which kind of materials are going to be using, which kind of cladding, which kind of roofs, and so on. So then we have to apply the same concept for the interiors, right? So basically what we do, we take the drawings that are done by the architect in a DWG format.
Yeah.
So this allows us to import everything in our software and then start working on the first step.
So step one, take the architect's drawings in and use them as the...
Yeah, so as soon as you have those drawings, as soon as done, their surveys and been... you have other planning, or you know that you're going to get planning for, and then we can get involved and start working on this. We have that, but probably just before that, we're going to have a design brief consultation.
Yeah.
So we have some forms that you usually filled in, and then we go through a lot of information about if you have any preferred supplier for, let's say, kitchens, kitchenettes, things like that, or some other items. If you want black fixture in your bathrooms or chrome and some other thing, which kind of flooring can have. Quite a lot. And still,
so that's like a pre-questionnaire, just to gauge where the client's at.
Yeah, just to understand where's the property located, what's the aim for the property, who's going to be living in the house, and then trying to understand as much as possible at that stage.
Yeah.
And then we're still going to have a call and then discuss everything that's been submitted in this floor plan, but also going to have some other questions as well. And then also the word interior design is quite vast in terms of the styles you can get.
Yeah.
And then we try to narrow it down to just a few which we think that are relevant for this space. And then, because even if you pin down like one style or the other, you're still going to have variations on which kind of flooring you're going to have, and then soft furnishings, things like that. So we try to say, okay, we're going to go this style, which is relevant for your avatar, and then you like it as well. And then this is going to help us to really search.
So when you say style, at this stage, are you more like a theme? Like you might go sort of like an industrial style theme, or so it's a bit of a broader framework where the final finishes might not necessarily be chosen, but you know roughly where it's heading.
Yeah. So at that point, I mean, each of the interior design has a name. For example, one we call it modern minimalistic. The other one is industrial urban.
Yeah.
And so on. There are quite a few, and then they all have their own specific color palette or type of furniture you're going to choose, and then which items I'm going to have. I'm going to have like really clean lines. I'm going to have some rugged finishes. Is more like distressed look or not, things like that.
Yeah.
You know? So that obviously has to link to the avatar. It has to link to the property. Has to link to the things that you like yourself as an investor. Maybe you want to create a brand for yourself, and all your property is going to be done in a certain way, so people will recognize it or not. You know, so that's quite important. And also at this stage, we discussed the budget allocated for the finishes. We know from experience how much we're going to allocate for a room or for a 7-bedroom HMO back to brick renovation.
Yeah.
So we know that if it's going to be realistic or not. And then sometimes we can use the whole budget, or maybe less, or maybe can increase in certain areas, which is if it makes
And managing
sense.
expectations at that point, if necessary, to get to the desired product, or showing that actually that you can come within expectations.
Yeah, because obviously furniture items can cost, like you can pay for yourself £300, or you can get you're going to pay 3,000 or 9 if you want to, or even more. So we have to be within that budget. There's no point coming back with the realistic renders, which they look amazing, but they're not within the budget. So this is quite important. So basically, within that design brief we're having, we just go through a lot of items, finishes, and things we're going to have in the property, design styles, and budgeting as well. And that's pretty much step one, I'd say.